Are you ready for bed? Did you wash your face and brush your hair? Better hope so. It is late. We must hurry and go to sleep. I will read you a story or two, but you must close your eyes. How about some Indian legends? The legend of Virgin's Bluff. The sheer and rugged bluff known as Virgin's Bluff, located on the banks of beautiful Table Rock Lake in southern Missouri, receives its name from a legend that has been told in the area for generations. In the early years of the 19th century, long before the arrival of white settlers, Spanish soldiers spent many months in the region. During these months of Spanish exploration, a handsome young soldier met Moonsong, the beautiful daughter of an Indian tribal chief. The maiden and the Spanish soldier fell in love, and Moonsong agreed to marry her lover and return to Mexico with him. She was, however, the chief's only daughter, and her father refused to give his permission for a wedding outside the tribe. He had selected a strong young brave to be his daughter's husband. He wanted a grandson to carry on the tribe's leadership in years to come. Learning that the Spanish soldier was planning to take Moonsong away, and fearing she would go without her father's permission, the chief sent a band of warriors to kill the soldier. Barely escaping death, aware of the hopelessness of his dream of marrying Moonsong, the Spaniard left the region, never to return. For several months, Moonsong refused to marry the brave her father had chosen to be her husband. She was certain that someday, somehow, the soldier would return for her. But after more months of waiting, she realized her lover was never coming back. Early one morning, she went to the edge of the bluff, and as the sun first broke the horizon, plunged 325 feet to her death into the James River below. The chief had the tribal medicine man put an evil spell on the bluff and declared that henceforth the region was forbidden to any member of the tribe. The bluff and land surrounding it were to be preserved forever for Moonsong's ghost. Early white settlers had heard of the legend, but few believed the story until strange things began happening to those who went near the bluff. The waters of the James River below the bluff soon became known as Virgin's Shoals and Virgin's Swirl, and they were the most dangerous and dreaded waters on either the James or White Rivers. Over the years, many boats capsized and many people drowned in the unpredictable waters below the bluff that seemed to become turbulent only when a boat came near. It has also been reported that over the years, not only once, but on several occasions, hunters have been found accidentally shot in this area. In 1912, William H. Standish, a wealthy engineer and lawyer, bought several acres in Virgin Bluff country. The bluff offered the perfect site for construction of a tunnel-type dam and reservoir, for which Standish owned a patent. He soon had enough capital investment in the project to begin, and the White River Construction Company was formed. The Amberson Hydraulic Company, Eastern specialists in dam and power generating plant construction, joined the efforts, and building began. But over the next several months, the project was plagued by one catastrophe after another. Rock slides, equipment failures, and accidents of all kinds resulted in many deaths and serious injuries to the workers. The strange accidents became so frequent that the crews began believing the legend of the Virgin's curse that was told about the bluff. Eventually, they refused to work. The clouds of World War I were also gathering, and in July 1913, the Eastern investors pulled out of the project. Standish folded his company, and the plan was never revived. There even seems to be a problem photographing Virgin's Bluff. Many people say that no one has ever been successful at getting a good picture of the bluff, and there have been cases of the camera jamming when someone was trying to photograph it. It was generally felt that the horrible curse put on the bluff by Moonsong's father would be erased by the new waters of Table Rock Lake when the lake was filled in the late 1950s. Since then, however, The many tales of freak accidents, of lake homes burning mysteriously, and of other strange events in the area surrounding the Bluff have kept the old legend very much alive. Night fishermen on Table Rock Lake, boaters and dwellers in the many homes near the Bluff have reported hearing sounds resembling those of a woman crying. Non-believers in the old legend claim that the sounds result from the natural phenomena of the wind blowing in and out of the crevices of the jagged bluff. But old-timers maintain that these are the sounds of Moon Song, still crying her heart out for her Spanish soldier. The story of heartbreak always moves me so much. Imagine being denied love, forced to marry someone you didn't care for. I sympathize with Moon Song. And I must say, I'm very curious about this virgin Bluff. I would be interested in trying to take a photo of it sometime. Maybe if you're feeling adventurous, we could make our way out and explore this legend for ourselves. Now, I'm sure this book has much, much more to explore and investigate. Such as, maybe, the legend of Ginger Blue. The legend of Ginger Blue is typical of the many romantic Indian tales found in Ozark lore. The story is also a good example of how legends were nearly always created about an unexplainable, natural wonder. Ginger Blue Resort in southwest Missouri was first founded in 1915 along the banks of Indian River. The resort took its name from the Indian chieftain Ginger Blue, who was buried on the property, and from a romantic legend about the chief's daughter. The Indian's grave can still be found near the resort's main lodge. The marker indicates that Ginger Blue lived from 1744 to 1847. It seems it was the custom of Ginger Blue's tribe for the father to choose a husband for his daughter. It was unthinkable to dishonor one's father by not accepting his choice. But Ginger Blue's daughter did not love the brave their father had chosen, and dreaded the day they were to be married. One day, as the maiden was walking along the banks of Indian River, a handsome young brave from a neighboring tribe paddled Noticing the beautiful maiden, he turned his craft into the bank and came ashore to meet her. It was love at first sight for both of them. During the weeks that followed, they met secretly along the river each day. The brave had also been promised by his father to a member of his own tribe. He and Ginger Blue's daughter spent many hours discussing their plight and planned to run away together if they were forced to honor their family's plans. One day, as they strolled near Mystery Cave, a large bear emerged from the cave and attacked them. The brave wrestled the bear along the river's edge and finally wounded the animal with his knife. The bear ran back into the cave and, determined to see the bear dead, the brave followed. The maiden waited outside the cave for hours, but neither the brave nor the bear came out. She then went to her father with a story. Impressed by the bravery the young man had shown and giving up his life to save that of his beloved, Ginger Blue dissolved the marriage plans he had made for her. His daughter was then free to spend the rest of her life in mourning for her lover. Each day she would go to the cave and sit on a rock near a chasm. As she recalled the happy days with the only man she had ever loved, she wept. During this lifetime of weeping, her tears falling on the rock created an image of her lover in the stone. Today's visitors to Mystery Cave can still see the picture of the brave Indian, preserved forever in stone. Oh, I'd love to see it for myself. What about you? That is such a beautiful story. Heartbreaking. I see you peeking. Fine. I'll read one more story, and this is going to be the last one. The Legend of War Eagle. The War Eagle settlement and the beautiful War Eagle River that winds through the Ozarks were named in honor of a Cherokee brave who died a tragic death while searching for his promised wife in the Ozarks. The story is one of the most enchanting and heartbreaking among the many historical legends of the region. No factual basis for it has ever been established, but it has been told continually since the first white man settled War Eagle was the son of a Cherokee chief. He lived with his family along the banks of the La Grande River in Indian Territory. Sequity, a beautiful young Indian maiden, had been promised as War Eagle's wife. A large wedding was planned and scheduled to take place as soon as the corn was green. War Eagle and Sequity had been lovers since childhood, and they spent many hours strolling along the banks of the La Grande. Shortly before the wedding date, a trapper befriended Sequity's family. One night, the trapper lured the girl to his fireside and told her of his love for her and his desire to take her as his wife. As she turned to run, the trapper caught and bound her. She apparently fought her abductor with all the strength she possessed, but it was not enough to cope with the big woodsman. He tied her to his saddle and left during the night, heading into the mountains of Arkansas. Although War Eagle realized that it was against the white man's law to leave Indian Territory, and that the consequences would be severe, his every thought was on retrieving Sequity. The young brave mustered a small band of his friends, and for 3 days managed to follow the trapper's trail into Arkansas. Coming to a small settlement, the band entered the village in hopes of finding the trapper's party. In those days, it was quite common for white men to become excited and fearful at the sight of a redskin, and soon a posse from the settlement was armed and in pursuit of War Eagle's party. And War Eagle's frantic efforts to evade the posse over the next few days, he lost the trapper's trail. After eluding the posse, War Eagle's band set up camp deep in the Boston Mountains of northwest Arkansas. It was at this point that his companions tried to persuade their friend to give up the search. Many felt that now that the trail was lost, it would be impossible ever to find the trapper or Sequity in the dense and mountainous Ozark forests. Several of the men returned to Indian Territory, leaving War Eagle with only a small group of his closest friends. The thick Ozark woods were strange and unfamiliar to them. Weeks went by, but War Eagle remained determined
never to give up until he found the one he loved.
One day, while resting near a stream, the band was ambushed by a posse of white men. During the fight, 3 of War Eagle's men were killed. The slaughter greatly infuriated War Eagle, who felt that he was doing no harm to the white men, and that they had no reason to kill his friends.
As an act of vengeance, War Eagle killed and scalped the next white man he came across. When the man's body was found, fear spread rapidly throughout the Ozarks.
All of the settlements in the region were put on alert, and many posses were formed to search for and kill the wild renegade Indians who were roaming the hills.
With the white man on their trail, the band had many skirmishes. During these battles, all but one of the Indians were either killed or wounded. Somehow, War Eagle himself escaped from the battles without injury.
But he soon found himself alone and without a horse. He was hunted like a wild animal in the strange Ozark wilderness, and his ability to endure was undergoing constant testing. When the white man got too close, the brave bolted like a frightened deer, leaping over the dead trees and gullies, frantically attempting to escape the wrath of his pursuers.
War Eagle survived by fishing the many Ozark streams and stalking small game with his knife. He ate his meat raw, as he could not afford to give away his location by building a fire. He also ate the many wild berries that flourished in the forest around him. At night, War Eagle searched for campfires and quietly stole close enough to see the campers.
One night, several months after leaving his home, he finally saw Sequity preparing a meal for her abductor. The trapper was sitting on a log guzzling liquor. In his desperate anxiety to kill the trapper and retrieve his long-lost love, War Eagle failed to notice the other men sleeping nearby. He lunged into the camp and drove his razor-sharp knife into the trapper's chest. The trapper's scream awakened the sleeping friends, who grabbed their rifles and quickly shot and killed the Indian.
In her overwhelming grief over the death of her lover, Sequity pleaded successfully with the man to let her stay with War Eagle's body. gave War Eagle an Indian ritual ceremony and mourned his death with such intent emotion that she finally died alongside the remains of her cherished warrior.
The stream by which they died is believed to be the War Eagle River of northwest Arkansas. The tragedy is thought to have taken place near the bend the river makes around War Eagle Mills Farm.
In this picture, we can see Sequity holding the traditional ceremony for a lover, sheltered by the Ozark woods. A final act of love and dedication for the man she has shared her whole life with, and promise to love and honor for all eternity. And even though she was robbed of a bright and happy future, as was he, in the end, she kept her promise. More than just a love story, this tale tells of how one act of selfishness can destroy something beautiful and real. To War Eagle, who persisted to the ends of the earth, and Sequity, who loved him until the very end, I wish a million happy, blessed days together in another life.
Now it's time to go to sleep. Close your eyes.